You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject coming up is from a band from Sweden called Amon Amarth. You'll hear from Jocke Wallgren. Jocke's the drummer in the outfit, and the reason for the conversation is to promote the upcoming album, the brand new one for 2019. It's called Berserker. So let's have a listen to what Jocke has to say. Here we go.
Thanks so much for waiting, Jocke from Amon Amarth. You now have Andrew Metal Obsession on the line. Go ahead, please.
Thanks very much for that. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, very good. It's the day after a very long Easter celebration here, as it is for you guys, no doubt, as well. So, mate, I've only had, but I'm proud to say, mate, I've only had 2 Easter eggs this entire time, despite having children.
All right. Nice.
So I've even limited it for them, actually. So we've been giving them Easter egg-shaped toys and bunnies and all of that sort of stuff. You know, all of the non-metal stuff you've got to do when you're a parent. You can appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. You do what you have to do to make them good kids.
You definitely do, mate. Yeah. So how the phone call's been going for you, mate? Have we been asking interesting questions of this new album for you?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same questions all over, but it's fine. I didn't expect to do this much press since I'm the new guy, but yeah, I'm all good. No worries.
What band were you in beforehand?
I was in 2 other bands right before I started Amon Amarth. So one called Valkyria with a J.
Okay.
Swedish black metal.
Nice.
And then I played in October Tide as well. That's a doom metal band from Sweden with former Catatonia members.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's awesome. And what inspired the initiative, if you like, to join the guys in Amon Amarth? An opportunity too good to pass up, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. That was the first main reason, that I really wanted to play on a professional level all my life, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I got the call from Olavi that says we need to talk, pretty much, and then yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's how it started.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, look, it's I've had a listen to Janine sent across a couple of cuts, actually, so I've been listening to them in the background as I've been going about housework and stuff. I tend to find that's the best way for me to absorb music, mate. And mate, the first thing that I noticed about this one here is the production is outstanding. Okay, so I could hear everything, and that was over the iPhone speaker, so congratulations on that. I mean, it's a big deal, that one there, because, man, so many people listen to music over these very small, rather shitty devices. You know, the speakers on the devices aren't that crash hot, but when something is a really good production quality, it doesn't seem to affect it so much. So that's the first compliment I've got to offer you guys. So you must have spent months working on the production and the engineering side of it.
We didn't spend too much time in the production. That was more of our producer, Jay Ruston. He did all the sounds and all the mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
Sorry, not mastering, but the mixing. And so he's the one we had to thank for this production of the album. It sounds awesome. I mean, you can even hear the bass.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. I'm a bass player, mate. So that was one of the points that I picked up, was that you can actually hear the bass guitar on it, mate. So did you have to stick around and make sure that was the case when the things were being mixed as well?
We didn't stick around for the mixing, but we got all the versions sent to us, so we could listen to it in our car and our home stereo and our headphones and all those devices. So and then we came with feedback to the mixing process.
Yeah, fair enough. So Jay Ruston, he's worked with, I think he did the most recent Anthrax album, if I'm not mistaken, but he's also done Stone Sour and, of course, Steel Panther and some older stuff like Uriah Heep. So what was he like to work with in the studio as a producer, as a fellow that you had to spend a lot of time with and the producer? Did he have a lot of sage words and wise advice to impart?
He did, yeah. He had really good advice, both for recording drums and also recording guitars and vocals. Yeah, and also we did this. We didn't record it as you normally record a record nowadays, because usually you do like drums for 2 weeks and then that's done. And then you go to the guitars and the bass and then the vocals and then overdubs and whatever. But we did the drums for one song, and then we all played together in a room, so it's live recorded pretty much.
Yep. And
then we took the best takes from the drums, and then we put it together pretty much, and then we did the guitars, and then we did the next song. So
yeah, right. Yep. Who does most of the writing in the band? Writing of the songs.
I would say Olavi does 65%, and Johan does the rest.
Okay, no worries. Have you been given an opportunity yourself? Because you're obviously very creative coming from the bands that you mentioned. Were you given an opportunity to add your flavour, if you like, to things?
Yes, but most drumming-wise, since I really don't know how to play guitar.
All right, okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the drumming is fabulous. I've got to hand it to you there too. It's always been a very dominant characteristic of the band, but I really think, look, I can't say I'm an old fan, because when I say I'm an old fan, not an old fan, the first time I heard of you guys was actually on a Metal Blade compilation back in the year 2000. And I don't know whether you got that one. I can't remember the name of it, though, but it was a pretty good compilation. It had 6 Feet Under and a few other bands of that era that are obviously still around, but they were a bit more prominent back then. But you guys definitely stood out back then. And then, of course, there was this Viking thing and this great Scandinavian thing that comes along with you guys. And you guys played at Download last year as well, didn't you?
Yes, back in 17, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find the tour, the Download Festival, when you were here?
They were great. It's really hard to say that this was the best one or this is the best one, because all the festivals kind of flow together for me. But I remember it was very nice. The sun goes in another direction there, which is pretty awesome.
Yep. I bet, yeah.
But it was pretty funny, because we started to play, and I was like, the sun is about to set, and then it just went the other way. So I was like, fuck, I should have brought my sunglasses to the stage.
Oh, yeah, God,
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. For the European festivals, have you ever had to wear sunglasses on stage because you're staring straight into the sun? Is that the thing that's allowed for you guys to do, or you've just got to sort of put up with it, I suppose, have you?
There are pretty few festivals that we play that early, and where the sun is still up. But it happened a few times, and I didn't play with sunglasses yet, because I think it looks it looks pretty cool, but I can't headbang with them. So
yeah, and daylight doesn't exactly suit.
That's my reason I did it.
Yeah, and the other thing is daylight doesn't exactly suit Amon Amarth, does it? It's not really the best time for you guys to be playing.
No, it's not. And the band has gotten so big, so we get pretty much almost the best spot on every festival now.
You do, yeah.
So it's pretty dark.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Like if the band's been going. God, how long has the band been going for now? 25 plus years or so, a long time. But you put all this effort and energy into it, and I know you're a relative recent arrival, but it must be thrilling to get to this point. Particularly, I mean, you're a career musician, obviously, but it must be thrilling to get to this point and actually go, hang on a sec, we're not just making, this isn't just, a standard career here. We're actually very successful at this. So did you ever think all of these years down the line when you first started drumming that you'd be a successful drummer and a successful musician touring the world in such a great band like Amon Amarth?
I didn't think as myself in this position. No, I didn't. But I hoped for it, and I've been struggling for 16 years before I joined the band to be as professional as possible, and it turned out well.
It's turned out very well, mate. Yeah, it's turned out awesomely. Yeah, I was talking to one of your contemporaries not too long ago, the guys in Watain. Have you guys thought of guys teaming up and doing a bit of a Swedish invasion tour or something like that?
Well, we are doing the European, the Swedish, what do you say, like metal package tour in the States.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. There you go. Who's on the bill?
It's us, it's Arch Enemy, it's At the Gates, and Grand Magus.
Oh wow! Holy moly! Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, Grand Magus are a fantastic band. Grand Magus are like
Yeah.
a really good version of Manowar, if you don't mind me saying. They're tremendous. But Arch Enemy, man, yeah, and at the gates are in Australia as we speak, actually.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Adrian, my friend Adrian from there, posted some pictures from there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, look, I'm an old school metalhead, right? From the perspective that I grew up with heavy metal in the deep dark '90s. Remember how bad the '90s were for heavy metal? Certainly, they weren't that crash hot here in Australia. It was very hard to get a hold of anything. But man, to be alive in 2019 and have all these wonderful Scandinavian artists that are prepared to tour Australia, it's a fantastic time to be alive for a metal fans from a metal fans perspective in Australia. So, do you get a lot of feedback from Australian fans over social media?
Well, me personally, I don't know because I don't really check where all the people are from.
All right, yeah.
But when we played in Australia, that was really good. It was really fun to be there, and first of all to see the cities and your country.
Yep.
And then also to meet the fans, and I love the way you guys speak. Your Australian accent is beautiful.
Yeah, look, we were a curiosity up until I think the internet started. I think, and more like you probably met Australians in Sweden, no doubt, because we seem to be everywhere. But yeah, I get that a fair bit. I think I was talking to a couple of years back when I first started doing this interviewing thing in this indie journo pursuit. Some of the bands I spoke to, I was the first Australian that they'd ever spoken to. So they used to get me to they found my accent very interesting, put it that way, compared to the English and the American accent, you know. But let me ask you this: can you tell the difference between a South African, New Zealand, and an Australian accent?
Wow, I never tried, but probably not.
I know, not so much for our Swedish friends, but certainly for our friends in the United States, have a lot of trouble picking them apart, which we find really funny because we think we don't sound anything like Kiwis or South Africans. And I'm sure they think the same of us too.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah. So, you're right.
I've never been to New Zealand, so...
Oh, yeah, beautiful country. Yeah, beautiful country. Beautiful. It's not too different from where you're from, mate, actually, especially on the South Island. You know, freezing cold, lots of snow, lots of green. Except there's a lot of... you've seen The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm a big fan. I even have a tattoo of the Tree of Gondor on my chest.
Shit. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's where it was filmed. That's where Peter Jackson chose to film it in his homeland in New Zealand. So I think if you've seen those films, that's what New Zealand looks like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm stoked to get there in the next couple of years.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask. Do you know if there are plans at foot? Obviously, there are plans at foot for you guys to come down again, but do you know when that'll be?
I don't, actually. Probably going to do U.S., Europe twice, and then Russia, South America, and also fly back to down under there. So, yeah, hopefully this touring cycle, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get there.
Yeah, well, you got a lot. You already know, obviously, you've been here. That you've got a lot of fans here. You know, I think there were as many Amon Amarth T-shirts in the crowd at Download as there were any other band down there. You know that, and that's really saying something for you guys in terms of your popularity everywhere.
All right, yeah, that's awesome.
You know, you tend to find the real fans wear the T-shirt, don't they? Especially at a very prominent event like Download, because they want to show off their allegiance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we appreciate that. That's it's really fun to see when you go out into the crowd to see everyone wearing our shirts, and that's what do you say, like our Viking fans.
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
Sorry, Andy, for the interruption. It's just your 2-minute reminder, thanks.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for that. No worries. Last question for you then, obviously, mate. I always like to do this. I like to throw a curveball toward the end, okay? And I'm going to make this an obvious one because I've had so many interesting responses to this one. But, mate, when you've been on tour, because you've obviously been on tour a fair bit by this stage, what's the weirdest thing you've seen?
The weirdest thing? I'm going to go ahead and say when we played in New York with the Jomsviking album cycle, I saw a guy crowd surfing with his wheelchair from the back to the front. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, actually, that happened down.
It took a while for him to get there, but it was awesome to see everyone struggling with his wheelchair, squeezing their hands in his wheels and everything. But I could see him coming slowly but secure to the front.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a good one. There was actually a guy in the Limp Bizkit mosh pit at Download who was in a wheelchair as well. And I think Fred Durst got him up on stage. If I'm not mistaken, I think Fred Durst, obviously some of their history in here in Australia, there's had a tragic event happen at one of their events. So I think Fred stopped the music and just made sure this guy could get up on stage and jam with them.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, it is. All right, mate, look, I better let you go, but it's been a privilege and an honour to talk to you. Good luck with everything, mate. You're in an awesome band, and, mate, good luck on getting the gig. A belated congratulations to you, I should say, on getting the gig there as well, man, because you're in an awesome band.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very nice of you.
My pleasure, mate.
And also, thanks for having me. It was really nice.
No worries, mate. My pleasure at all. It's been great talking to you.
All right.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Bye.
Bye. You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that interview subject was Jocke Wallgren from the Swedish outfit Amon Amarth. Thank you so much for listening.